So welcome to my series of videos on the CAGED system. I'm going to, over the course of this series, show you how to use the CAGED system to get around the fingerboard, and start off by showing you how to play one chord in the 5 various positions. And basically the CAGED system is a way for us to visualize the guitar. It's based on the open chord shapes of C, A, G, E and D, hence CAGED. Now, one of the difficult aspects of the guitar is that you can play one scale or one chord in many different places. So the big challenge for us is, how do we overcome this? You know, on a lot of instruments you may have only one shape or one form of playing a major scale, but on the guitar there are several different ways that you can do it. So the CAGED system helps us get over that problem. It's been a great help to me, but I will say it's not the only system. It's only one system that I use. I use it in combination with a few other different ways of looking at the fingerboard. But I'm going to start off, as I said, with showing you how to play one chord in different places, but I'm then going to go on and show you how to break down each section, each position, and show you how to play major scales, major arpeggios, and then how to turn those into your minor chords and your minor scales and your minor arpeggios, and then move it on to, you know, chord extensions and add in some interesting flavours to your arpeggios and so forth. So as I said, it's based on the open chords of C, A, G, E and D. And so yeah, let's get started. So we're going to start off by looking how to play C major in 5 different positions along the guitar fretboard. Okay, so as I mentioned in the introduction, the CAGED system is a system that helps us play in one key all over the neck. And one of the things that we like to do to get started, or we should do to get started, is to learn how to play one chord, one specific chord in all of these different positions. So the system itself is based on the open chords of C, A, G, E and D. So we're going to look at how to play a C major chord now in all of these different positions within the CAGED system. So the lowest position C chord on the neck is the open C chord. So the order C, A, G, E, D, or CAGED, tells us that the next shape that we're going to want to use to play a C major chord is going to be an A shape. So we're going to be looking for an A shape movable chord. In this case it's going to be an A shaped bar chord. If we kind of visualize the open A, we can see that we've got a root note, which is the open A string. So its movable equivalent will also have a root note located somewhere on the A string. So in the case of C major, we're going to find that here, which is the 3rd fret of the A string, which is our root note is going to be C. So I put my first finger there and I just build a common A-shaped bar chord from that note. So hopefully, as I said, you should know your A-shaped bar chord by now. So that's our first one. So we've got an open C and we've got a C at the 3rd fret, which is our A-shaped bar chord. So hopefully you can visualize how this shape here is related to the open A chord, and how the first finger takes over the role of the open strings from the open chord shape here. So we can move it around anywhere we want. So the next chord in the sequence they're looking for is the G position. So if we visualize the open G chord, we see that the root note is located on the bottom E string. So if we just take this shape here and we just move it all the way up the neck until we find a C under the ring finger here, which in this case, in the case of C major, is going to be at the 8th fret, we found our position where we're going to build our G-shaped chord, our G-shaped movable chord. Now, hopefully you can see there that I've not changed any fingers at all. I've just moved these fingers up the neck until I've got to the 8th fret under the ring finger here. And again, using my first finger to compensate for the lack of open strings, I've got a G-shaped chord. Now that's actually a C major chord, but using a G shape. So far we've played C major in 3 different positions. We've had the open position, we've had the A position, and we've had the G position. So next, CAGED, C.A.G.E D, the next position we're looking for is the E shape. Now, if we visualise our open E chord, we know that the root note is on the bottom E string, or is the open E string. So again, for this movable shape, we're going to be looking for a root note somewhere on the bottom E string. So in the case of C major, we're going to find it again at the 8th fret. So this is the 8th fret that we use to play the G shape. But this time, crucially, the root note is not under the ring finger, but is under the 1st finger. And we're just going to build an E-shaped bar chord from that note. Okay? It's pretty straightforward again. This should be a common shape to you by now. The E and the A-shaped bar chords are the 2 bar chord shapes that, you know, most people will learn if they've done their bar chords, and which you should have done by now if you're moving on to the whole CAGED system. I would hope that you would know your A and E shaped bar chords. So hopefully that shape makes sense to you anyway. You understand about the root note being on the bottom E string. So that's covered C, A, G and E. And then we get to the D shaped bar chord. Now, sorry, bar chord, but movable chord. Now, in the case of an open D chord, the root note is the open D string. So for the D shaped chord, again, we're going to be looking for a root note somewhere on the D string. Now, as we're looking for a C, we're going to find that on the 10th fret of the D string. So that's the note C there. And we're just going to build a D shaped chord from that. Okay? So at this point, the whole cycle starts again. So we've done an open C, an A-shaped chord, a G-shaped chord, an E-shaped chord, and now we're on the D-shaped chord. Now we go back to a C-shaped chord. Now, if you look at the shape that we started off with, which was the open C shape, if I was to move that all the way up to have my ring finger, because it's the ring finger in the open position with the C here is the root note. If I was to move that all the way up to the guitar to the 15th fret of the A string, I get a C. But we have to jiggle the fingers around, and the 1st finger is going to come down and compensate for the lack of open strings, and we have a C major chord. So again, this is the movable C shape now. So that's all of the positions that we've covered. Playing C major all the way up the neck. We've got the open C chord, the A shape bar chord, in this case C major, which is at the 3rd fret. 1st finger playing the root note. We have the G shape bar chord. G-shaped movable chord, sorry, which is with the ring finger on the root note, in this case C major, so the ring finger's on the 8th fret. We have the E-shaped chord, 1st finger playing the root note, again on the bottom E string, in this case again at the 8th fret with the note C. We have the D-shaped chord, root note on the D string, in this case under the 1st finger for the movable shape, and at the 10th fret because we're playing C. And then finally we go back to the C the movable C position, which we find at the 15th fret of the A string. We find the root note, which we're going to use under our little finger, and that's the note C there, 15th fret of the A string under the little finger. We build our C major chord, open C major shaped chord, and we have a C chord there. And if we had an infinite fretboard, that cycle would just keep going. So the next one again after that C would be an A shaped bar chord. So if I was to move my first finger to where my little finger just was at the 15th fret of the A string, I could play an A shape bar chord there. So let's try doing the same thing again, but let's choose a different chord now. Let's try it with E major. So I'm going to go move a little bit quicker this time. We're going to start off with our lowest position E chord that we can find on the neck, which is our open E. So CAGED tells us that the next form that we're looking for is the D shape. So first finger on the E, we're looking for an E, obviously, for an E major. So the root note is on the D string, in this case the 2nd fret on the E, and we build our D shape chord off of that. The next shape we're looking for is a C. We know that the root note is found on the A string. It's played by the little finger, so we're looking for an E on the A string, which in this case is at the 7th fret. We put our little finger there and we build our C shape off of that. And we have an E major chord. The next shape is an A. We know that with an A shaped chord, the root note is played by the 1st finger and the root note is found on the A string. So in this case it's going to be the same E that we just used for the C shape, but this time instead of the little finger playing it, it's going to be the 1st finger, and we build a A-shaped bar chord from that. The next shape that we're looking for is a G, and as I said, the root note is on the bottom E string, and it is played by the ring finger. So in this case, in E major, we're going to find that here at the 12th fret. So we put our ring finger there and we build our G-shaped chord off of that. Sorry. So I should have said in the first part of the segment, the G-shaped chord is probably the fiddliest one to get into. You don't often see people play it like that. It's much more common to just have the top of the chord like this, as it played as an inversion. Okay, but as I said, this is all about how we visualise the fretboard. Not all of the shapes that you'll encounter in this series are going to be necessarily easy to play, but it's about how we see the fretboard to help us get around. So that's our G shape. The next one that we're looking for is an E. We're going to find that at the 12th fret of the bottom E string. Our 1st finger is playing the root note, and we build our E shape off of that. And we're back to where we started. We started with our open E position down here, and now we've ended at bar E position at the 12th fret. So my suggestion now is you go away and you just run through doing that in as many different keys as you can, and really remember where root note for each position is and what finger plays that root note, because that's really going to be the key for you to being able to spot where you are quickly on the neck. So spend some time doing that. When you feel you're comfortable doing that and you can move it around and you can do it starting on different chords in different keys, then it's time to move on to looking how to play your arpeggios and your major scales. Okay, so enjoy.